Everybody, it's Inger and it's time to read the cards again. It's a free webinar I do every Friday, so it should be ready, uploaded and spliced together by Sunday. So that's probably when you will have access to this video. Now, my favorite thing on a Friday is to come out to Kundalila Park, National Park. It's a sacred Aboriginal area. It's beautiful, it's in the wilderness, there's lots of birds and wildlife here. The first thing I do in the morning, I make myself I fill up the thermos with nice coffee, and then I'm sort of set. Then I go to the cafe in the lookout area, and I have my croissant, and then I drive out here. So it's just an amazing part of my life. Every week I come here, and sometimes twice a week as well, because it's just so much peace here, serenity. This is where I feel really connected and good about everything, and it's just so cute. And there's so many cute bush turkeys that are walking around me, and there's one there, he's pruning himself. I don't know if you can see him. There he is. He's pruning himself. It's very cute. There's loads of wildlife here. You probably will hear a lot of birds. This is Australia. You're going to hear a lot of crazy sounds during this webinar. Now, this week's question have been all about relationships, most of them. So we're going to do, because there are so many relationship questions, I thought this is a great opportunity to talk about numerology. So in relationship, numerology plays a great part, because the way you communicate, the way you deal with stress, what you're drawn to, what you want to get out of life, your destiny, that's all part of your numerology makeup. So 6 numbers all up. 3 of them are found in your name, and then 3 of them are in your date of birth, and that's like the most important ones, because you can't change your date of birth, but you can change your name. So the life path number is the most important one when it comes to, because that's who we turn to when we're very when we're dealing with stress, and when we're dealing with changes, and when we want to accomplish something in our life that is really important to us, we turn to our life path number. So some numbers are completely drawn in different direction. So if you're in a relationship with someone who's drawn to totally different things in life, that means that you might find that you're not really on the same page, so that you might always be like wanting different things, and when things get a bit heated, then you might communicate completely differently. Some numbers have a huge need for communication. Like number 3, for example, that's like the number for communication. That's the most important thing. And then you have like some numbers that aren't. That's just not the most important thing. They might deal with things much more internally. So number 4, for example, they internalize a lot. So they think all the time. It's a very cerebral number. But they might not share with you what they're thinking. They might think they have, but they haven't. So for a 3 life pattern to be around, in a close personal relationship with a 4 can just be, sometimes they just feel like they're a bit alone, and they're not maybe being heard, Even though they are, it just doesn't come across as if they are. Another example of numbers that can get a bit, they might not be able to make it last, is a number 6 and a number 7. And that is because 6, that number wants family. It's the maternal and paternal number. They nurturers, love children, very family oriented, and they want to have a great career as well. They want the whole thing. So they often become very committed, and their family, their home, and they love to have their own business as well. And then you have the 7 life path, who is like completely different from that. They are seeking spirituality as the number 1 important thing in life, and they are family oriented as well, but they have to have spirituality in their life first. So even if they have a family and they're committed and everything, they're always seeking something else outside of that. And they often like to, they're constantly seeking truth, and they want to study and learn all the time, and they're drawn to do a lot of travel. And before, like when they're on their sort of journey, and if they haven't gotten sort of figured out their spirituality and things like that, they can be very difficult for them to have any kind of relationship, and it's very hard for them to settle down in any sort of stable sort of environment. When they're spiritual, they're usually very healthy. Then they can do the whole relationship thing. But when things get stressful for them, or they feel like things are getting a bit too earthly, they want to sort of escape a bit. And then if you are a 6 life path who wants to stay and be sort of grounded in family and business and the home and everything, and then you're a 7 life path who just feel drawn to seek outside of that all the time. Now 2 7s can go, that's naturally matched because they deal with things differently. No, I mean completely the same. They deal with things similarly. So when they're both seekers, so that means that they can do that together, and they support each other. So, for example, when you see those families where they sort of packed up the kids in a bus, the pets and everything, and they're on the road driving around, that's sort of that I'm thinking they're probably 7 life paths. They probably that's just their way of dealing with life. They like to be on the go, on the move. They love to travel. They love to be on the road. They're a bit of that gypsy. So that's just an example of how your numerology really determines who you are. And if you look at them, I put that up. I don't know if I have it anywhere, but you learn about this in when you're doing the course, the arrows. I talk you about numerology. I explain each number and I show you how the grid is. And then certain numbers, they're on the mental plane and soul plane and practical plane. And then you have the number 5 is boxed in. It's the only number that's boxed in. So that number is always seeking freedom because of that. So when you are with a 5 life path, that's how they actually feel. They feel boxed in and they feel trapped easily, more easier than other numbers. And they're constantly seeking freedom. They're seeking liberation. That's what they're seeking. And they need that. They need to have a lot of freedom in their personal relationship. So that means that they need a high degree of compatibility with who they're with, and then it can work out really well. But if you're a 2 life path, who's like the relationship number, who wants to be in pairs, number 2 likes to be in a couple. It's the number that doesn't work with a 5 life path because the 5 likes freedom. They can't be with somebody all the time. So then you have the number 2 and the number 5 in relationship. That can be difficult then. There can be a lot of chemistry, a lot of romance and everything, but for like long committed relationships, it can be hard. But then again, we have free will. We can work on ourselves. We can work on our belief system. We can always make it work. And sometimes when you know what the numbers are, you know what to prepare for as well. And what I love about the tarot is it's such a fantastic tool then to look into how to deal with each situation as it sort of shows up, and what the block is, and how you best can move forward to create harmony where there might be disharmony. However, if you're single and you are manifesting soulmate, it's a perfect opportunity to put into your soulmate manifestation that you want someone that you are compatible with in numerology as well, because I do think it just makes it a little bit easier, actually a lot easier. Now I brought my tarot cards this time. Last time I forgot my cards. I had to run and I had to buy a new deck, and I bought this deck here. It's the first deck I have ever owned, and it is absolutely beautiful. I can't remember the name of it now. It keeps dropping out of my head. So, but this is a vintage deck that I bought. It's not vintage, but they made it look vintage, and it's a lot of these cards are from the Rider-Waite. Yeah. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I might keep using this. If I remember the name of it, I will tell you. I keep forgetting it. So there's a lot of relationship questions, and also at the end of this webinar, I'm going to reveal to you something amazing. It's going to be, first of all, we're going to do a meditation again for a fantastic week, to have a great week. We're going to do a command. Then I'm going to give you we're also going to do a synchronicity reading like last time, but then we're going to I'm going to show you guys the ultimate soulmate spread. It's a book coming out that is going to be like completely self-empowerment, because tarot spreads are the key. So there's going to be loads of tarot spreads. It's like, let's say you're reading a book in a language you don't understand. You know how to read, but if you don't understand the language, it doesn't help. You don't understand what the book is about. Now, reading the tarot is the same thing. You might understand everything about the tarot cards, and it might be like you're an expert at that. But if you have a spread that is poorly fitted for what you're asking, it's like reading a book in a language you don't understand. It just doesn't make any sense. The cards, it brings confusion. The best thing is to find a spread that is amazing for what you're actually asking about. So I'm working on loads of spreads now. For example, Celtic Cross, my favorite spread. It's amazing. It answers every question. It's like, that's why it's so popular. But when people are asking specifically about relationships, where they're in a relationship already, I want to see from both point of views. Or I only get it from one point of view. And I need to see from both point of views. So then I use the Celtic Cross love spread. So it's just adjusted, tweaked a little bit. That's all. So that I can see from both perspectives. When people want a soulmate, I have 2 spreads that I use to find out who is their soulmate, where is their soulmate, you know, destiny of relationship, is there past life karmic connections, is there, which it always is, and is there family friend connections, and what do the person actually want deep down. And then I had another spread that sort of asked the same questions, but it went more into situation, how they're going to recognize their soulmate, what situation are they in when they meet their soulmate. So I combined them 2 into the ultimate soulmate spread. And that's what I'm going to reveal to you guys at the very end of this webinar. And the book that's coming out with all the different spreads, it's going to be just loads of spreads for everything. And it's going to be about your body, a lot of it. It's about talking to each organ in your body. Find out if there's anything held there that shouldn't be there, sort of held like emotions, because our body stores a lot of emotions and traumas and things. And thoughts that we're thinking, we think it just goes out there. It doesn't. Some of it actually, a lot of our negativity actually gets held in the body. We want to find out what it is, how it serves us. We're going to release it, and per organ, and actually each spread, we're going to do a command prayer to release and to manifest better, you know. So for example, in a relationship, it's going to be a command then for better relationships. It's going to be a protection command for to avoid, you know, third-party interference and things like that. So it's going to look at pretty much everything, career as well. I'm even going to do a stock market spread, because I'm thinking of starting on the stock market. So I will do a stock market spread. I want to look at what stocks will do well, short term, medium term, long term, and things like that. So I have to test each spread, and I have to test them and see how I can make them better. So I have to use myself as a guinea pig. And all the spreads, all the healing involved in that will work with what you already are doing medically, for example. And so it's like you're in a safe place. So everything we're doing, I'm going to do that from the creator of all that is. So yeah. So let's get on with some questions. So there's going to be a lot of numerology questions here. And I'm also going to pull some cards for you guys. Alina, can I have one numerology reading? Yes, you can. You are born on a 5-day. You're an 8 attitude. You're a 9 life path. 9 is the highest number. That means you're meant to reach your highest potential in this lifetime. You have an 8 attitude. That's the business number. There's so many numbers that's why we're drawn in different directions, because, you know, 8 and 9 wants different things. So your attitude and your personal life path number, they're sort of drawn in different things, in different sort of areas, but you can combine them, because 9 is it's the highest number. It means you can be good at pretty much anything, but it's often very good with people, humanitarian, artistic things as well. So you can do that in a business way to make it work on a sort of earthly level. And also you're born on a 5-day. That's a number that's feel boxed in, so that means you need personal freedom. And you also feel, and also you are like someone who's natural at everything, because that's another gift with the number 5 as well. They touch base with each number, so they have sort of qualities that are everywhere, and that you can see that in the grid as well. Your partner Marius, I just said it the way I would say it in my native tongue. Marius, he's born on a 2 day. He's a 3 attitude and 6 life path. So a 9 and a 6 in the life path is a natural match. So that means in the life path number, that's the most important thing, you are a natural match. So that means that you deal with life similarly. Similarly, is that even a word? Similarly, I can't speak English today. In similar ways, when, you know, to get through challenges, and you probably want the same thing. He has the paternal number 6, so that means he'll be an excellent father. So I'm going to pull a card for you here. And also, if you guys go on my website, and just, I don't know if it's in the top menu bar anymore, but if you go on the search bar and put numerology, you get to the numerology, all the numbers, how they're matched together, compatible or challenges and things like that, is actually it's there. So then you can learn about the numbers. So I'm going to pull some cards for you now. And next year, Alina, you're going to go in a personal year of 9. So everything you're doing now is sort of preparing you for that. When we're in a personal year, that's when we can really have a lot of transformation. So I'm just doing 3 cards here. The bottom card is 4 of Cups. That means when someone is offering us something and we're not noticing it. And that could be, so you have someone that's offering something, but someone is not receiving it for whatever reason. And therefore there might be feelings of rejection in the relationship at the moment. So that it could just be like, pay more attention to each other. And because, you know, it might be miscommunication. You're in a personal year of 8 and he's in a personal year of 3, so he's in that personal year of communication being really important. So maybe he feels like you're not hearing him as much as he would like to. That's basically could be it. Marina, you wanted to know about this person. Now you are a 1. You're born on a 1 day. You are 4 attitude and you're a 2 life path. He is born on a 2 day, so you have the 2 in common. And that's probably what if there's an attraction, you know, you have that number 2, that means the love number. And love is very important to you because your life path is 2, so that's like, love is the most important thing. He has a 5 attitude and a 7, he's a 7 life path. So he is someone who sometimes he's present and sometimes he's not. Like I talked about that 7 life path earlier. Depends if he's spiritual or not. If he's spiritual, then he will be healthy. If he's not spiritual, then he'll be cynical. But you are not actually matched in numbers, so you probably will want different things. And when he is present, he is amazing. But he'll be someone who will be absent. Even when you're in the same room, he'll be absent a lot of the times. And that's just a 7 life path. They're often like that. And that's why they really need to be with numbers that need a lot of space as well, because then, you know, there's harmony in that. Now, let's see. Will I see Frank again face to face? This is for you, Mary. Now you are born on a 4 day, you're a 6 attitude, and you're a 3 life path. 3 loves communication, so you want face-to-face communication. You're a nurture, you have the 6 as well. And that means obviously you're reaching out, you want to reach out. Now have a look at Frank's numbers. He's born on a 1 day, he's a 9 attitude, and he's a 5 life path. And you know what? I think you will see Frank again face to face. And I think you'll see him when you stop paying attention to him and you start doing other things, and mentally and energetically you're focusing on other things, because fives, they like to pay attention when people aren't giving them attention. It's like, it's like the opposite. If you give them attention, they might not give you attention. But when you stop giving them attention, they give you attention. That's just a 5 life path. So when you start focusing away from Frank, then he will be there. Then you'll see him face to face. So it's just one of those things. But a 5 and a 3 is compatible in the numbers. So you have... also, I think with Frank, he has gone through some things. And this also might be why you're drawn to him as a person. He has a 9 attitude that often shows up when people have a lot of scars from their past. And they're in a lot of wounding because of it. And they need to really deal with that. He's in a year cycle of 9 now, so he's also probably dealing with it. And he's soon, actually no, he's already now in the personal month of 9. So it's a lot of that. Everything that he hasn't worked on from his childhood that was bad, he's sort of being reminded about that now. And he's probably thinking about it a lot. And I think he needs to deal with that, Will my little family finally find the peace and happiness we deserve after all these years and waiting, pain and struggles? And then you gave your date of birth. Ashley, this is for you. So you're born on a 2-day, you're a 3 attitude, and you're a 6 life path. Your partner is born on a 3-day, he's a 5 attitude, and he's an 8 life path. Now, the number 8 sometimes have, they sometimes have some difficult lessons in this lifetime. And it's because they just want to do things their way all the time, and sometimes that attracts learning the hard way. He's also in a personal year of 5, and that's when drama can kind of follow you around a bit. And that is because that's when you really feel like you want a lot of changes to happen. Because of that number, I said it feels boxed in, and it wants to find ways of being more open, have more, have more freedom. So he, I feel, is probably attracting maybe some difficult life lessons through just the way he goes about things. And that's just in the numerology. Your daughter is born on a 2-day, she's a 9 attitude, and she's a 3 life path. Now I'm gonna have so you're all sharing the number 3, so communication is the key here. The more you communicate, the better it is. It's a beautiful family you got. It's a very beautiful family, and I think that next year it's going to be a much calmer energy for you. I'm gonna have a look at through some cards. It's just, yeah. With the 8 life path, which is your partner, they have a lot of financial lessons as well. So that means they can attract a lot of money, they can lose a lot of money. And next year, that's kind of where I feel like he can really attract a lot of money in and be really abundant. But this year as well, but definitely next year is more like that, being on top of things. Energy is in a 6, then he's in a 6-year cycle, personal year cycle. I'm gonna have a look now at you guys, just 3 cards. The bottom card is a Hierophant. That means, you are, like I said, you're a beautiful family. It's meant to be committed, it's meant to be strong, it's meant to be stable. And I got these 3 cards. I have a very good feeling about your family and the future of your family, okay? And the cards that I pulled are all beautiful cards. You got, Knight of Cups. Someone wants to shower you with love. So that's your relationship. It's a lot of love there. You got leadership. You got strength in this. It's someone who has a lot to offer, but who wants a lot back as well. And I feel like you both have a lot to offer each other and as a family. And then you have 9 of Cups, which is like your wish will come true, the bad times never last. And you know, it's just what you sometimes to get past this sort of, and we can even add this at the end, to the end of the webinar. Let's add that we find what the meaning behind our struggles are. Then we complete the lesson and we bring in the new. Let's do a command at the end. So, because I feel like every lesson that we're being taught, you know, if we can find out what we learned from it, and we ask the Creator, we use these commands to, that's how we communicate, and this is how we co-create, to complete things that are difficult sooner rather than later, and to have in new positive energy. Okay, so Genesis, this is for you. My man's date of birth, you gave me his and yours. So his is born on a 6th day, 8 attitude and 2 life path, and that's a very, all of his numbers are sort of lined up perfectly. So he's a very relationship oriented person. And yours is born on a 5 day, 7 attitude, and you're a 4 life path. So a 4 as well is someone who's very committed. And I teach this in the arrows class, when a lot of the number 4 is showing up in your reading. Commitment, you know, you are committed to something or someone. But before we even get to the 4 Genesis, you are a 5, born on a 5 day, you have 7 attitude. They are the movement numbers. They are the numbers that love freedom. 5 and a 7 is naturally matched, by the way. And the way I've spoken about the numbers, you probably already gathered that. 5 loves freedom, 7 loves freedom. But your 4, that's who you really are under all of that. And that's wanting to be really strongly committed. 7 and 4 is actually also really good together in numerology. And that's because the 4 is very kind of independent and stable. It can really well handle the 7 life paths, actually really drawn to it because it gives them that sense of mystery. And they feel really drawn to that. On an intellectual level, they're actually very compatible. And the 5, you know, is the freedom number, total freedom. So Genesis, you might be someone who likes to live on the fast lane, and maybe your partner is someone who likes to have things, you know, maybe not as fast as you. His numbers are very business oriented. I think he has talent in business, big talent there, and he might be, but whatever he loves doing, that's what he should do, because in that number, his life path number 2, you know, whatever he loves doing, that's what he'll excel at, because that's a love number, isn't it? So I think you both will do really well in your career as well. So let's have a look at the cards. But you are naturally matched in the life path number. 2 and 4 is naturally matched. But remember what I said, when some numbers are in your numerology and then they're drawn in different directions. For example, Genesis is born on a 5 day, 4 life path. That means the day you're born and your life path number is different. So you might feel like you draw out. So I'm just going to record the rest on my tablet. Yes, so I'm going to pull out some cards for you, Genesis, for you and your partner. 3 cards. The sun, that can mean that you're gonna have children, okay? And I feel like, okay, so like I said, you like living life in the fast lane, and he's someone who's very good in business, actually showing up in the cards as well. This card in love often shows up just before you're about to make that big commitment, okay? So before you're like settling down with mortgage and kids and everything. Like I said, you might be meant to have kids together, and now you are just enjoying the relationship before it gets to that next level, okay? I feel like this is him, okay? He's someone who I feel like will do really well in business. He has talents in, well, if he's not in business, he's also really good with people. So he could do really well in healthcare as well, and that's just because of his people skills, and he's comes in the card as someone who's very nurturing, caring, with very good social skills. Okay, and 8 of Wands, that's just like living life and having a lot of fun. It's all about fun. I think you two know how to have a lot of fun. It's just, you know, the different aspects of your personality, you can make it work to your advantage as well, and just bring in different elements and things like that. So, but there's just like a lot of energy in this relationship, a lot of energy, and I think you're bringing in this energy, Genesis, and I can see that in your numbers. You are an energetic person. Now I'm gonna go and do the synchronicity reading. So let's have a look. So this is for everybody who's watching, and when you're watching this, it's a perfect time for you to see this. That's what a synchronicity reading is. Bottom card, Page of Wands. That is when we feel like maybe no one is listening to us, and we call out a little bit louder and louder and louder, but the truth is everybody's hearing you. Everybody's seeing you, everybody's noticing you, because Page of Wands speak of the part of us that everybody's paying attention to, because it's like having a big personality. And people often know about us before they even see us for real. And then this card here, Knight of Swords. So that's like going after what you actually want and getting what you want, and not taking no for an answer. That's what it means. Okay? Because you're the only one that can stop yourself. And the people that needs to come in to help you, they will come in. And that's what this card represents. So go after what it is that you want in your life to fulfill yourself, and no one other than yourself can stand in your way. Okay? Let's do a command for completing life lessons that are difficult. Okay, so I just had to write down the command. So this is the one that I like and I'll use for this. So when we're using the command, we're actually connecting to the creator of all that is. So we're asking the creator of all that is. So let's connect first to the creator. So just close your eyes and imagine energy from the bottom of your feet into Mother Earth. Pull up this energy above your head into a beautiful ball of light. You are in this ball of light. You're going up into the universe. You go through many, many lights. And then suddenly you're there. Beautiful, bright, sparkling light of creator of all that is. It moves through you. It's part of you. It's within you. You're one with it. I'm going to ask the creator to complete all difficult lessons. We're going to do whatever lesson you want to do them each lesson, okay? So think of the lesson that you want to have completed, okay? It is my intent and my command that I will understand and accept all the lessons behind this difficult situation, specify what that is, through the creator of all that is, and that this lesson is ended and completed while I keep all what I've learned, now, forever and always, and that I will receive all new learning in joyful ways and in the highest and best way. Thank you, it is done, it is done, it is done. Now you can say this 3 times if you want to, and I'll write it all down in the description section. Because learning with joy is much better, isn't it? And if there are difficult lessons, then they are valuable, very valuable. You find out what it is that you learned, and pull in that you're learning your lessons in the future in more joyful, less stressful ways. So now I'm gonna take you guys on a bit more of a meditation while you sit and visualize what you want in your life. And let's also do a command for the future week as well. It's my intent and my command that the future week ahead is filled with joy and positive energy, free from drama, free from conflict, free from difficult lessons. In the highest and best way, thank you, it is done, it is done, it is done. And think of what you want. Think of what you want coming in this week and in your future. And just sit there and listen to the music for a while. It will go on for about a few minutes. Then we're going to go into the ultimate soulmate spread, and I'll teach you guys how to use that spread. Bye! Guys, I hope you like that meditation and focus on something you want in your life. Soon we're going to go straight into soulmate, manifesting soulmate using soulmate spread, and have a look at how you can identify your soulmate before you actually meet your soulmate. And that soulmate spread is like acts as a call out to your soulmate as well. And it's, I call it the ultimate soulmate spread. It's a combination of two soulmate spread I've been using for years. But first I have to share with you something crazy that just happened. Like, it just happened. Like half an hour ago. Oh, I'm kind of still a bit shaken up. Yeah, well, I think it started yesterday, and I'll explain how this works, but this is part of when you manifest and you ask for things and then it happens. So I love, connecting with animals and animal spirits. And I've always felt connected to animal spirits. I'm always drawn to the natural world, And when I'm in nature, I always want to connect with it on a spiritual level as well as physical. So yesterday, as you know, I recorded the webinar in Kundalila Park, and I went for a bushwalk down to the waterfall. And I asked to see, because what you can do when you're in nature, you can ask your spirit animal to come to you, and then you just wait for the animal to appear. So it can be like a bird or something, or a bug even. And then you can just like listen as well to what animals are starting to call out. So it can be like a frog or an owl. And then, there's a lot of sounds in the rainforest, like loads. So I wanted to make it really obvious that it wasn't just like sounds in the rainforest. I wanted to know, this is my spirit animal. So I asked for it to be really obvious. I was like, make it obvious. Should not have said obvious. So anyway, I actually thought straight away, I thought, okay, maybe I shouldn't have said obvious, because maybe it was like a snake or something, and that's going to come to me, like a brown snake, like one of the most toxic snakes in the world. But then I thought, so you also have all these really cute tree snakes, they're harmless. And then, anyway, I saw a wallaby very close by, just jumping, so that was like obvious sign, But I couldn't sort of get the snake idea out of my head. But anyway, I finished the bushwalk, and I took the photos that you've seen in the meditation, and I drove home. And what you're going to see is what happened to me today. And I think this has been in my car while I've been driving around for over, been doing a lot of driving since yesterday. So you'll see soon what I mean. Should not have said obvious. So basically, I rang the snake catcher, and he said, take a photo and send it to me. So I sent him the photos. And then he said, this is a completely non-dangerous, like completely harmless snake. It's a green tree snake. So you have nothing to worry about. Just getting back into the bush, use sticks or whatever. So there was the people that were in the car that told me that I had a snake hanging out of my car. They also was there, and there was another person was there, and then this guy on a motorbike came, and he had a pet snake, so he sort of knew what he was doing. And there he was, he must have been trying to get out. So poor snake, poor snake. And here is a good Samaritan on the motorbike who just came, and he knew what to do, and he released the snake, and the snake is 100% fine. So I'm really, really grateful. And I guess I got my sign, my spirit animal, that I wanted to make it obvious. Next time I go to the park, I'm not going to ask for obvious signs anymore. I'm just going to say, I take what I can get. If I hear an owl, that's good enough for me. I don't need these obvious signs anymore. But, I'm glad that when I do ask for signs, I do get signs. That is, I think, is a cool thing. And I just have to know to trust, the signs that I'm getting, because then I won't be asking for, sometimes I ask for signs that are so obvious that it's just like, it gets like over the top obvious. And I do that a lot. And, if that snake, luckily it ended well, but, if that snake had come, if it had been on the seat next to me suddenly while I was on the motorway, I might have freaked out. It could have caused an accident. So, but, I guess I have some protection as well, and the snake is safe, and I'm very happy about that as well. So now let's talk about Soulmates. Now, soulmates, this is the ultimate soulmate spread. This is a combination of 2 spreads that I use. If you think this one is complicated, like when you do your tarot spreads, the soulmate one, I have 2 smaller ones that are on the website. You go on the tarot spreads, soulmate spread 1 and 2. This is a combination of the 2. Now, if you think this one is complicated, and sometimes a shorter spread is easier, but this one I call it the ultimate because it just basically has all the information. Situation is card 1. That's just where you currently are at, what you're dealing with. Card 2, how can you best attract the soulmate? Card 3, this is subconscious, what you really want in a soulmate. That can be a bit of a surprise to you as well. What is blocking you? So that's usually a belief or a program. It can be a fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, things like that. So then you release those fears, you know, then it's much easier to manifest. Family and friend connection, card 5, that is if you and your soulmate have similar social groups, basically, and if you, then you'll see if someone that you know also know your soulmate. If you get a major arcana card here, that usually means that you will just meet by chance, not through other people. Card 6, this is how you will meet, so that's like the situation. So you can kind of read card 5 and 6 together. Card 7, how will I recognize my soulmate? So that's the energy of the soulmate that you will recognize. Card 8, where is my soulmate? Now I have do this card there, but you can also do a separate spread where you just use the cups. I have explained that in another video, and it's also a description on the website. You can go on the Tarot Aces category and you go on the suit of cups, and then you can do that. I've written step by step down to find out how far someone is away from you, where you are now. You can see if someone is in another country or if someone lives close to you. Who is my soulmate? Sorry, that's wrong. I'm going to fix this up. Hang on. Card 9 is when will we meet? Sorry, I just have to fix that up. When will we meet? And then that's a timing of event, but you can also do a separate layout for timing of event. You can just do 1 card per month, and then you'll see where the love cards are showing up. Look for the Magician, the High Priestess. They are very soulmate cards. They're highest and best soulmate. Who is my soulmate? This is the most revealing card. It's the 10th card. Destiny of relationship here. Card 11. Now, if you get a negative card 11, then you can always change your future by changing your beliefs and changing your blocks, your fears, you know, to get the best out of your relationship. Now, I would double up. So after you lay out the 11th card, you start again. So each card position then have 2 cards, you know, and then you read the 2 cards together. If you don't want to read the 2 cards together, I look at what showed up the most. So you don't read card groups by pairing up. You just read the 11th card that showed up, and you read what card group, what number showed up the most, and you actually read the group together and see, you know, what are, you know, it gives you a lot of information when you just look at the card groups. Then you look at individual card meanings. So that will tell you a lot about the energy of the relationship and things like that. So have a go with this and see how you go. Write it all down, and it's often the first time you do this that will give you the most accurate information. If you do it again and again, it's like it's like it's getting watered out. It's best to do it once, write it all down. If you change a lot, if you do a lot of belief work on yourself and you change and you deal with stuff and things, you can do it again, because then you've changed, so then the energy will change as well in your reading, because you have changed. But just the way you're manifesting at the moment, write it down, and then that's your manifestation. That is actually your most likely future with attracting a soulmate, the way you're going about things now. And this is, I recommend that when you do the cards and you do this spread, you ask for your highest and best, most compatible divine soulmate to show up in the cards, and ask the creator to show you in a way that it's obvious. Not as obvious as what I've just experienced, but obvious so that when you look at the cards, you know what it means. I always ask to make it obvious, because it makes it easier than in how you interpret the cards. And then keep sending me your question for next webinar. I'm going to still go up to Kundalila. I'm not going to let this snake experience deter me. You know, I want to be strong. I'm going to go back out there, connect with you guys through the cards. So keep sending me your questions. Bye.